What's up, Notre Dame fans? This is Patrick Engel of blueandgold.com, joined by our recruiting insider, Mike Singer. A big commitment upcoming for Notre Dame fans to watch. Four-star linebacker Joshua Burnham out of Traverse City Central High School in northern Michigan, announcing his school choice on Wednesday. That's St. Patrick's Day. The finalists, Notre Dame, Michigan, and Wisconsin. Mike, how did we get to this point?
Yeah, so it's funny. St. Patrick's Day, and it's his birthday, so you would think him deciding on St. Patrick's Day would be a good omen for Notre Dame, but we will just have to see on Wednesday. But yeah, Joshua Burnham's a guy Notre Dame's been on for a long time. The Fighting Irish staff offered last summer. Michigan's obviously been long in the mix. The Wolverine staff up to this point has just recruited him really hard, and Wisconsin. The third finalist there, they've worked their tail off too to get to this point. So Burnham's not one of these like big social media guys, not a big interview presence. He stays off the radar for the most part on the interwebs, but on the field, he certainly pops on both sides of the ball. So yeah, like I said, this is a recruitment that flew under the radar, for the lack of a better term, just in terms of like popularity, because just not a guy that you heard about a ton because he didn't like do a ton of interviews with the various outlets, but he tweeted out the other day that he will be announcing on St. Patrick's Day, which again is his birthday. And you see the future cast picks in there, 71% for Notre Dame right now. That flipped in a big way. Once he announced that he was going to be committing, that's always a sign of that kind of puts reporters on alert to really dig on where that might be. Do us media folk have it right? Are we wrong? Again, we'll find out on Wednesday.
So, Mike, give us a case here for each of the three finalists, why they will or won't get Joshua Burnham's commitment on Wednesday.
The case for Wisconsin is maybe he's pulling a fast one. I don't know. I honestly don't know much about Wisconsin's recruitment. Right around the time he announced a top three of those three schools, he also told Rivals.com's Josh Hemholt, who has done a great job covering this recruitment, that he was really down to Michigan and Notre Dame. Those were kind of the two standout schools in his recruitment. So I don't really have much of a case for Wisconsin. I know the Badger staff has worked hard. Kudos to them for getting in the mix for this elite talent, but I would be stunned if he announces a commitment to the Badgers. The case for Michigan is, I'm pretty sure his family is all Michigan fans. The Traverse City area has got to be, very Wolverine friendly. And there's got to be more pull for Michigan. The staff there has been on them longer. They've had some coaching changes, of course, but Jim Harbaugh and the guys, that no matter who's been on the staff, Harbaugh's been the head coach, and then again, whoever's been on that staff has been recruiting him hard. Did that staff changes? I know Michigan's Don Brown left, and now he's at, Arizona. So you have some coaching changes there, which I think have helped Notre Dame. And I've been saying since Notre Dame offered him, I believe last summer, that my sources on the Irish side of things have always felt good about where Notre Dame stood in this recruitment. Always kind of felt like Michigan was in the lead, but here's Notre Dame. Done a great job. Marcus Freeman, and the entire staff, though. If Josh Burnham does land at Notre Dame, the guy I'm really going to give a lot of credit to is Nick Lazinski, the Irish's defensive analyst. He was Clark Lee's right-hand man, and on the recruiting front, and then Clark Lee leaves for Vanderbilt. Marcus Freeman comes in. Lazinski is continued to be that constant. Again, just touched on those coaching changes at Michigan. Well, Notre Dame had a coaching change as well, but Lazinski was the constant there. And if Notre Dame lands Burnham, again, ton of credit to Nick Lazinski. So My future cast picking is in for Notre Dame, and heading into his decision tomorrow, still feel good about it.
And Mike, you were the first to put in that future cast for Notre Dame to land Burnham, I believe. And you have a couple other future casts in for Notre Dame to get some four-star linebackers in the 2022 class in addition to Burnham. So should Notre Dame land him, what do you think this means for the linebacker class and the 2022 class as a whole?
Man, um, hashtag Freeman factor. There's some really good things going on the defensive side of the ball in this 2022 class. Offenses got a solid start as well, but you look at Josh Burnham potentially joining Nolan Ziegler on Notre Dame's commitment list, and then moving forward, Nuafe Jr. Tui Halamaka, the nation's top inside linebacker, future cast picking for Notre Dame. Sebastian Cheeks from Evanston, Illinois, where you're currently sitting right now. Future cast picking for Notre Dame. Jalen Sneed, Hilton Head, South Carolina, when Notre Dame offered him earlier this year, one of the first linebackers, if not the first linebacker, I believe that Marcus Freeman offered. Felt like that was a long shot. I covered this in a recent Gold Standard. I'll leave the link in the comments about Sneed, that Notre Dame's in a better position there than people might think. You have Devin Jackson from Omaha. There's just all these four-star players and big-time guys that Notre Dame is right in the thick in the mix for. So you got two down in Burnham and Ziegler, and then you have 2 to 3 more really good players. I mean, someone like Langston Patterson from Nashville is a darn good linebacker, but I mean, they can't take 8 linebackers in this class. They got to stop somewhere. So it'll be interesting to see who Notre Dame ends up with. But I can guarantee that at this point, Notre Dame is going to sign one darn good linebacker class.
And of course, the Irish hoping that Joshua Burnham becomes part of that class when he announces his pledge on Wednesday afternoon.